Okay, here's the bombshell. After 19 years, a Hollywood and Nashville relationship everyone, I mean everyone, thought was solid as a rock. It's shattered. We're talking Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. The couple forged in fire seemed totally unshakable. But get this, the news that hit September 29th? Ooh, this isn't some sad mutual thing, The reports came fast, and they were brutal. One half of this iconic duo, Nicole, the Oscar winner, completely blindsided, utterly devastated. Apparently, it was Keith Urban's decision to just walk away. The heartbreak seems absolute.
Welcome to Starscope Report. We're joining you for this deep dive, really to break down the big Hollywood dramas, the industry shakeups. Our whole mission here is moving past those quick headlines with glossy statements. We want to really get into the stories behind this sudden collapse, an iconic marriage, just gone.
And there's a lot to unpack here. We're going to trace this brutal timeline of how it all fell apart, how they kept up this perfect public front while behind the scenes things were already in pieces. We'll dig into how these two huge global careers basically created a rift, hollowed out their connection, and maybe the biggest thing, the irony, right? How that dramatic, loving start to their marriage, remember the intervention, might have actually kind of set the stage for this painful ending. So the news breaks late September, and it felt jarring, didn't it? Like, there was no carefully crafted, conscious uncoupling statement we sometimes see. No, this was stark, and the consensus from TMZ people, E! News, it was immediate. Keith Urban made the call, unilateral.
Right, and that unanimity, that's crucial. You don't usually see that lockstep reporting unless there's, some guidance. Sources, probably very close to Kidman's camp, kept hammering this one phrase, almost like a mantra. She didn't want this. It instantly positioned her, not passive. She was reportedly fighting to save the marriage, had been trying to save things for months, they said.
Okay, wait, I gotta jump in. When they use a word like blindsided, are we talking she didn't know he was unhappy at all, or just didn't see the final axe falling right then? Because there's a world of difference, right, between sensing trouble and being completely shocked by the ending.
The reporting really suggests the latter. Like, she knew about the strain, the distance, the career stuff.
Well,
Sure. But the core belief, I think, was in their unique bond, the one that survived his early sobriety crisis, famously. So the idea of divorce, especially him initiating it alone, it seems that was just unthinkable territory for her. That foundation felt sacred.
And that's why the narrative management is so powerful here. Framing it that way makes her instantly the sympathetic one, the loyal wife, the dignified mom holding it together. It totally protects her image. And it subtly puts the onus on Keith. He's the one who broke that sacred bond. It's textbook PR in a crisis, frankly, but very effective.
So, okay, that's the PR defense being built in real time. Smart. But to make that stick, they had to kind of paper over months of things already falling apart privately. The actual physical split, it started way back since the beginning of summer 2025. They were literally on opposite sides of the world. Kidman filming Practical Magic 2 in London. Urban on his massive High and Alive world tour.
Right, and that separation, that's what kicks off this whole summer of contradictions. Private life, estranged. Public life, still putting on a show. That last public photo together June 20th at a FIFA match looked happy enough. But then just 5 days later, June 25th, their 19th anniversary, Kidman posts that really elegant black and white photo on Instagram. Just said, "Happy anniversary, baby."
And knowing now they were already living apart when she posted that, oof, that hits different. It feels like a genuine, maybe even desperate public reach. A wife trying to hold on to something she still valued deeply. It's like she was putting that hope out there for everyone, including maybe him, to see.
Yeah, poignant is the word. And then after that moment, the red flag started popping up faster. July, remember? Reports that Nicole applied for residency in Portugal, bought a home there, solo, Keith's name. Nowhere on the paperwork. Now, at the time, the excuse was logistics, tour dates, visa appointments he couldn't make. But looking back, that screams separate paths being drawn.
Absolutely. And then there was that radio interview thing, also July. Urban gets asked about Nicole's on-screen sex scenes, which, okay, maybe a slightly awkward question anyway, but his team just kills the call abruptly. That signals real tension, right? A sensitivity around the marriage itself that was unusual to see play out so publicly. Definitely raised some eyebrows even then.
For sure. And then August 19th, Kidman posts that summer memories dump on Instagram. Lots of pics, daughters, family, but zero Keith. For a couple whose brand was partly built on those shared family moments, that kind of omission, it's glaring. You notice that stuff.
Definitely. And the final sort of logistical nail in the coffin came after that. But before the news broke, Urban got his own place in Nashville, moved out. That cemented the split weeks before we all found out. So while Nicole and the girls, Sunny Rose and Faith Margaret, stayed in the family home, Keith setting up his own separate residence. It showed this wasn't a sudden fight. It was a slow, methodical unraveling that had been going on for a while.
Okay, so if the feeling is blindsided heartbreak, the reason seems more, well, practical but insidious. These two massive global careers, the constant conflict, the pressure, it just created this unbridgeable.
Been there.
One source quote that just nailed it simply. Keith never sees Nicole, either she is filming or he is on tour.
Right.
Just never there together.
And it wasn't just about finding time on the calendar, though, right? It went deeper. They were living, fundamentally, these parallel lives. That source metaphor was so powerful. There was a lot of love between the two. But there is a world that they both live where neither of them are in it. Like their careers put them in these separate orbits that just didn't intersect enough anymore. The day-to-day connection just wasn't possible.
And that huge physical distance, it inevitably starts to wear away at the emotional core, doesn't it? The reports specifically mention that as a direct result, intimacy was fading, conversations becoming less frequent. You know, all those little things, those daily check-ins that keep a partnership alive, they were being replaced by, what, silence? Strain?
Yeah, and that loss of intimacy seems to have been really central to Urban's side of things, according to reports. His perspective, allegedly, was that the whole effort of being married had become performative, like they were just acting it out. He apparently told Nicole directly, the intimacy isn't there, they are just going through the motions of being married, which suggests that, you know, even if the structure was there on paper, the actual authentic connection felt hollowed out to him.
Which lands us right back at that brutal irony. Their success, the very drive and ambition that made them this huge power couple, let them reach the absolute top of their games. That same drive created these lifestyles that just couldn't coexist. Their own brilliance became the thing that paradoxically tore their private life apart. It's kind of tragic, actually.
So in the middle of all of this reported devastation, Nicole Kidman's reaction has been pure, dignified resilience. Textbook Kidman, almost. She stayed as the anchor, right? Staying in the family home with their daughters, really leaning on her sister, Antonia Kidman, who reports say has been a rock for her through all this, holding the family unit together.
Yeah, that protective maternal strength. It really echoes the role she played right at the very beginning of their marriage, doesn't it? I mean, their whole relationship was basically founded in crisis. 4 months after the wedding in 2006, Keith's in rehab. Addiction. An intervention led by her.
Exactly, and Keith has spoken about it so openly, so many times, famously credited Nicole with saving his life. Remember that 2024 speech? He said she pushed through every negative voice, and she chose love. That dynamic Kidman, the steadfast savior, Urban the grateful man she rescued it, forged this incredibly deep, almost mythical bond between them.
I have to wonder, did that history, that intense beginning, maybe create a kind of imbalance from the start? As beautiful and romantic as that savior narrative is, it kind of implies a permanent debt, doesn't it? Or locks them into these very specific roles.
And that might be the really complex insight here, the thing that reframes this whole split. Could Keith's decision now, almost 2 decades later, be seen not just as him being unhappy because intimacy faded, but maybe as a final incredibly painful act of asserting his own independence, his own agency? Think about it. Nearly 20 years sober, massive global success achieved entirely on his own terms. Maybe there was this deep subconscious need to finally break free from being the guy who was saved. Maybe he needed to feel like an equal partner, evolving on his own path, in a way that the marriage, forever defined by that rescue, just didn't allow anymore.
Wow. That adds such a layer of, I don't know, heavy, tragic complexity to why he might have walked away. It suggests it wasn't just about conflicting schedules, but maybe this profound personal need for him to redefine himself outside the shadow of that heroic moment from 19 years ago. Okay, so despite all the moving trucks and separate residences, legally, things are still kind of up in the air. Sources are pointing out nobody's actually filed any divorce papers yet. It's officially unclear whether Kidman and Urban plan to officially divorce. That specific wording keeps popping up.
Right, and that ambiguity, it feeds right back into that ongoing PR narrative we talked about earlier. You see insiders, clearly aligned with Kidman's perspective, fluting these little whispers of hope, saying things like they're waiting to see how things go during the holiday season before calling it quits for good. It keeps that image alive. She's still fighting. The door's not totally slammed shut. It reinforces that she didn't want this ending. So maybe this is the final thought we leave you with, something these sources make us grapple with. If being mega successful forces 2 global stars into totally separate worlds, even if there's still love there, can any couple realistically overcome that uncrossable ocean that their own careers, their own incompatible ambitions have created between them? Is it even possible?
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.